Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are back with TNA 2010 on TEW 2020. It's been a while, I know, but today we are beginning the build towards Against All Odds. We just wrapped up Genesis. AJ Styles is still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. ODB is your new Knockouts Champion after defeating Tara in a steel cage. Desmond Wolfe is the new Television Champion after defeating Jeff Hardy, but there's the whole aspect of Sting's return in regards to that one. So, certainly interesting there. And of course, the Amazing Red is still the TNA X Division Champion, and Beer Money are your new TNA World Tag Team Champions after defeating the British Invasion. But, like we said, today marks the beginning of the Against All Odds build. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. Okay, we begin the show with a highlights package covering what went down at Genesis, with the main focus being on the world title match with AJ and Angle, which saw AJ retain, Samoa Joe cashing in his Feast or Fire briefcase for a world title shot Against All Odds, and Sting making his return to TNA in the aftermath of the TV title match between Jeff Hardy and Desmond Wolfe. Mike Tenay and Don West formally introduced the show and put over the fact that tonight officially begins the road to lockdown. And after making his long-awaited return to TNA, Sting will address the fans and explain why he got involved in the TV title match between Desmond Wolfe and Jeff Hardy. So we're starting it off hot, man. Taz looked good. Taz did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. The angle got the crowd hotter, and it got it off to a strong start. So a 62 rating for that one. We're starting off hot, man. Let's get going. And following that, Paul Heyman makes his return to well, not his return, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Although for some reason I put Don West on announcing. I don't know. We're losing our minds here. All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Cutting to the ringside area, Paul Heyman makes his way down the entranceway, grabbing a microphone from ringside, and he announces that the signature match of the X Division will be making its return to pay-per-view, as the Amazing Red will defend the X Division Championship at Against All Odds in an Ultimate X match. So, big match coming, with qualifying matches taking place over the next few weeks, and that starts with Jay Lethal and Homicide. So, Ultimate X is making its return, and Red's got he's not going to have just one guy coming after him. He's going to have multiple guys coming after him, and whoever ends up qualifying between Jay Lethal and Homicide, woo, interesting. But he also announces Red will also be in action tonight as he takes on the TNA World Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles in a Champions Showcase main event. So we've got a big boy main event coming, and Ultimate X is back. So a lot going on. 83 rated segment. I love it. Already we're cooking. Already. Paul Heyman was superb working without a script. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time. At the announce desk, Don West was pretty weak. This angle got the crowd hotter. Maybe we kind of put Taz as the announcer, because he did very well in the opening segment. Don West, not so much. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do we stick with Don West, or do we put Taz in that position? Let me know in the comments. But so far, we're cooking, man. Okay. The first qualifier for Ultimate X In a bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, Jay Lethal defeated Homicide in 13 minutes and 23 seconds with a flying elbow drop. So Jay Lethal is in Ultimate X. But it only got a 53 rating, which I'm a bit annoyed about, but we move. Jay Lethal and Homicide don't seem to click, and it made for an awkward bout, but the announcing did lift the match, and the color commentary gave it a boost as well. So it is what it is, man. You're due at least one bad segment per show anyway. It doesn't matter. Jay Lethal, he's in Ultimate X, and that's the outcome that we wanted. So let's move on, shall we? We're cutting to the backstage area now. Tara is interviewed by Christy Hemme, who asks her about her loss to ODB inside of the steel cage and about her decision to save ODB from the beautiful people after the fact. But before Tara can answer the questions, he is interrupted by the Knockouts champion, who reluctantly apologizes to Tara. So there's still some I guess, tension between those two going on for assuming that she was involved with Velvet Sky and Madison Rayne. Tara accepts the apology, but also states that ODB owes her one and challenges the champion to a rematch for the title next week, which ODB accepts. So we've got a Knockouts Championship match set for the next episode of Impact. A 53 segment rating, not great, but the Knockouts never do well for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but we'll move along with it. Tara struggled when going off script. Christy Hemme worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to her advantage. ODB did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. So, yeah, not great segment rating, but we move, innit? Okay. Following that, we've got a tag team match with the former champions, the British Invasion, against Team 3D. In a decent match, the British Invasion defeated Team 3D in 12 minutes and 28 seconds, with Magnus pinned Brother Ray by using underhanded tactics. But once again, similar to what we've experienced already with the British Invasion, Magnus is the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. I don't know what I'm going to do. Honest to God, I don't know what I'm going to do with Magnus. Part of me is thinking, look, I don't want to split him off from Doug Williams yet, because he's nowhere near ready for that. No way. But maybe we form a stable. Maybe that's the direction. I don't know. But it got a segment rating of 63, so that'll bump the show up quite a bit. Magnus had an in-ring performance of 45. Doug Williams had an in-ring performance of 57. Brother Devon had an in-ring performance of 58. But Brother Ray was the star of the match with an in-ring performance of 62. So very interesting. And of course, Team 3D getting a tag team specialist bonus. I would think so. They're one of the most decorated tag teams of all time. But with a 63 rated segment, we move on. Okay, after defeating Team 3D, the British Invasion demand a rematch for the tag team titles. But they're interrupted by Matt Morgan and Hernandez, who not only have unfinished business with the former champions from last week, because if you remember, before Genesis, Hernandez and Morgan would defeat the British Invasion via count out after Magnus and Williams got themselves counted out on purpose. So there's some beef there. But they also want a shot at Beer Money and the World Tag Team titles, which leads to Beer Money coming out and declaring that they will be fighting champions, that they acknowledge the challenge of the British Invasion as well as Morgan and Hernandez. And per Paul Heyman, a number one contenders match has been signed for next week And the British Invasion will face Morgan and Hernandez in a rematch, with the winner challenging Beer Money at against all odds. So we're already building next week, man. Matt Morgan looked good, which is great. Doug Williams struggled when going off script. Magnus did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. So Magnus has got the promo stuff down. It's just in-ring wise, he's struggling. Matt Morgan was superb working without a script. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time. Hernandez clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and perform well. Storm clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and perform well. Robert Roode was superb working without a script. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time. So Beer Money worked well together. So do Morgan and Hernandez. It's just figuring out what we want to do with the British Invasion. 60 segment rating. Cannot complain whatsoever. I'm good with that. We move. Okay. We then switch to the backstage area. Christopher Daniels, who's kind of frustrated after losing to Samoa Joe. It's not great for him, but, you know, we're kind of moving Daniels in the direction of eventually he will get to the World Heavyweight Championship. Eventually. I don't know when, but it'll happen. Daniels is interviewed in the backstage area by Jeremy Borash following his defeat to Samoa Joe at Genesis. JB asks him what's next, and while Daniels is clearly frustrated by the loss, he states that he doesn't know what's next, and that Joe might have been right about him and not being able to win the big match. So Joe is in Daniels' head, it seems. However, the interview is then interrupted by the return of James Mitchell. So James Mitchell is back in TNA. He claims he knows what's next for Daniels and that the worst is yet to come, and it will all be made clear next week. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Christopher Daniels came across well. Worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage. But the face turn, it doesn't seem to be working in the direction that I would like it to go. But again, we're going to persist with it because that's where we want to go. JB did not do well without a script to follow. James Mitchell improvised well throughout the segment, and the announcer lifted the segment as well. So Daniels really is the one that's holding this. Well, okay, I wouldn't say Daniels, but he came across well. It's just, is it going to go in the direction that I want it to go? I don't know. Maybe it will. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, we move. We then follow that up. Suicide versus Eric Young in another qualifier. In a decent match, Eric Young pinned Suicide with a pile driver. So Eric Young is in Ultimate X. And it gained heat as well. So that's really, really good for us. 58 segment overall. I mean, it's all right. The X Division matches, they don't tend to get higher than that. So, but the main thing is Eric Young is in Ultimate X. That's what we want. So Eric Young and Jay Lethal have qualified, and the X Division Championship storyline has gained heat as well. So we're moving in the right direction, man. We're moving in the right direction. Okay. Sting. He was going to address the fans following Genesis after returning to TNA in the television title match amidst all the madness that was going on. Sting makes his way to the ring to address the fans and why he decided to return now. He states that following his defeat to AJ Styles at Bound for Glory, he was content with staying home and leaving the company in the hands of the younger generation. But after seeing how Desmond Wolfe has disrespected Jeff Hardy the last few weeks and how he took credit for the concussion he gave Hardy before Genesis, he felt he needed to come back and teach him how lesson in respect. So we're playing off the we're playing off the respect angle that TNA did, which obviously led to the formation of the main event Mafia, but we're doing it in a way where we're not recycling old shit. Because after Sting lost to AJ, he felt that TNA was in good hands and he could walk away and not come back. But Desmond Wolfe has shown complete disrespect to Jeff Hardy the last few weeks, and Sting felt like, you know what, this ain't gonna fly here. This ain't gonna work. All right? So, now, we're not having that. Wolfe then makes his way down the ramp to confront Sting, but Jeff Hardy, who wants revenge, meets him there, jumps over the barricade, and the two brawl on the outside, and you've got TNA officials trying to separate the two. But as Wolfe retreats, Hardy grabs a microphone and challenges him to a street fight next week on Impact. So you've already got 3 banger matches for week 2. So we're moving in the right direction here. Sting improvised well throughout the segment. Desmond Wolfe clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script, and he performed well. And the storyline that we're portraying with Sting, Wolfe, and Hardy, it gained heat as well. A 71 rating. Absolutely love that. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. We move on, man. And we go backstage once again. Kurt Angle is interviewed by Christy Hemme, who asks him about the loss to AJ at Genesis. Angle acknowledges the fact that Styles was the better man at Genesis and he earned the right to be called World Heavyweight Champion. But he warns AJ that it will not be the last time the two face off for the championship. So we're kind of already planting seeds for a future rematch, potentially. The interview is then interrupted by the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, who takes issue with Angle claiming that he will face Styles again for the title, stating that while he respects Kurt and what he's done, it's time for people like the Pope to get their opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship and for the legends to step aside. So, Pope being a little bit disrespectful here. He'd been a little bit disrespectful, but I can see Pope doing this if this was being portrayed on television. So, yeah, I can see this happening in real life as well. Angle takes this as a sign of disrespect, as you would, and proceeds to slap De Niro across the face and leaves him with a warning that the next time he opens his mouth, Angle will drop him where he stands. So Angle isn't taking any shit, which I like. Kurt Angle looked good. Christy Hemme did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd, and D'Angelo De Niro was superb working without a script. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time. But this bit here makes no sense because it's saying Christy Hemme underperformed. I mean, work your way around that one. I don't know. We got a 69 rating for that one. Cannot complain whatsoever. I like it. We're moving in the right direction as far as the build is concerned. So, more of that. Okay. We have the main event. AJ Styles versus the Amazing Red. In a superb match, AJ Styles defeated the Amazing Red in 19 minutes and 42 seconds with a springboard 450. AJ had an in-ring performance of 85. The Amazing Red had an in-ring performance of 65. Now, the goal here is to eventually propel Red to the main event, because I feel like that's what Paul Heyman would have done. Paul Heyman would have taken the top guy in the X division and put him in positions where you could see him in the main event. And that's what we're trying to do here. 69 segment rating. Obviously, AJ Styles is the ring general of the match. But with Red being in that position, hopefully he progresses more and more, and we get to see Red in the main event scene sooner rather than later. So we'll see what happens, man. But 6-9 segment rating, I like it, man. And to end the show, Styles comes out victorious against the Amazing Red. He offers him a handshake as a show of respect for the X Division champion, because Styles came from the X Division, so he respects where he came from. Red accepts the handshake and returns the gesture by leaving the ring and allowing AJ to celebrate. But Joe attempts to do what he did at Genesis by attacking him from behind, but Styles sees it coming, hits the Pele kick, and drop kicks Samoa Joe over the top rope as Styles lofts the TNA World title above his head. AJ Styles came across well. The angle did lose a little bit of heat, but the announcing lifted the segment overall. So, I think we've had a really good show here. We've progressed stuff that we needed to, and of course, you know, we're building towards Against All Odds as well. So, yeah, can't complain. Let's see what we got for an overall rating, shall we? Okay, we got a 64 overall rating. So we're in the middle here. We're kind of getting what we should get for Spike, but I want to get above 64 ratings eventually, right? So hopefully we can get there, but can't complain about that. We've increased our popularity in 23 regions as well. I mean, we started the show off quite hard, man. 62 rating to start the show, and then 83, and then we got 71 for the Sting angle as well. I mean, I think it was those... Well, no, we've only got 47 here. I mean, the fact that the Knockouts division is getting more than Daniels is a bit mad, but we'll see, man. We'll see. But, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We continue the build going forward. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the TNA Save. And yeah, I'll see you for week 2, I guess. But, you know, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed watching. And until next time, I'll speak to you in a bit. Take care. And you know the rest, lads. Peace.